Hi there, my name is Trolls and welcome to Soundpaint. In this video we're going to push Soundpaint to the next level. We're really going to see and stretch this engine, see what it's made out of. Sure, we have 127 dynamic velocity layers in the engine, we have analog effects, no load times, all the good stuff you want from a next-gen sampler. But in this specific library here, we're just going to push it far out into the galaxy of sounds. In fact, this library is sort of doing the impossible. It's using sounds from outer space, but that's not possible. There's no air in space, so air molecules can't move. We don't have sound. Well, many years ago, NASA made a beautiful discovery in the form of electromagnetic field radiation. The radiation travels through space as sound waves, or as waves converted into sound waves. But the special thing is that they oscillate very, very slowly. For example, if you take a black hole, its oscillation is that of a 10 million years per oscillation. So at a frequency of minus 57 octaves, think about that. The oscillation happens so slowly that it's 57 octaves below human hearing level. That's incredible. So what we did and what NASA did was to bring that up, 57 octaves up to human hearing range so we can hear them. We took the source material and enhanced it. There are many musical qualities and there are days and days of recordings to go through, but we curated over 1,000 different ambiences from outer space. So you can play with comets, you can play with the core of the Milky Way, you can play with clusters of galaxies, nebulas, anything. Even the International Space Station is emitting waves that were recorded. And you'll be surprised how musical it sounds. I can't wait just to take you in here. Again, there's over 1,000 ambiences, so I can't take you through all of them. They're also long, very evolving, some of them. But it is unbelievable how much music is in outer space. So let's get inside of the door and take it for a go here. Let's go far out. Isn't that beautiful? I almost hear like a French horn sort of emit from the ambience. That's what I'm talking about. There's 1,000 of them. Let me just take you through the parts here. We have two different types of parts. We have ambiences here that I'll show in the beginning, where there's one unique ambience per part. But we also have these sort of clusters where, for example, we have all the transmissions that have been captured through space, radio transmissions, and more human origin of transmissions. That's in the giant pads where there's unique samples per key. So we have both individual parts just with one ambience, but we also have them where you can select through hundreds of different ambiences on your keyboard as well. So let me just take you through some of the parts here. Almost has sort of a plasma sort of reactor-like quality. And here's Comets. Aren't they beautiful? And they're fully playable, so you can go deep down and get like deep notes out of them. Comets. Love it. Here is a dark neutrino. Ooh, this one is dark. Almost like a perfect sine wave. You know, you could do your 808. Let's try a little further up here. In a weird way, it's like unbelievable that we can play with the core of a galaxy. This one, for example, here. Or that was 7 notes, so 7 galaxy cores playing together. How beautiful. Here's some helium emissions. And a lot of the emissions and transmission samples in this library have that sort of old tape, old radio kind of quality to them. Here's a hydrogen cloud. Here's a Magellan cloud. And it's so cool because in Soundpaint, every single part, we have every single sound of any instrument is always across the entire keyboard. So you have full playability. almost like an organ kind of quality to them. Here's a nebula. Oh, almost like overtones. Alright, that's kind of cheating. I'm using the shimmer reverb, which will make anything sound like a universe. Let's try another one here, a proto-planet. Is that cool? You know, you get that really sort of eerie atmosphere. Really cool for ambience like soundscapes. Here's a pulsar. Oh, that is a pulsar. A supervoid. I sincerely think, and this is not to like hype my own shit, but this is one of the most beautiful ambient libraries ever made. And it's organic, right? Can we even use the word organic when it's out of space? I have no idea. That is like hyper organic, but man, emotion. I love it. Here are views from the Hubble telescope. You can almost hear the pixelation of a photo through Hubble. A static. Here's Andromeda, the nearest neighbor galaxy. Andromeda must be a beautiful place. And here's one that to me sounds like you guys have been cheating. Like there's no way space can sound like this, but it did. And you can really give it a treatment in Soundpaint. Let me just do it quickly just to mingle around. Here's a fat one for you. This is a cryo-Vulcan. I mean, doesn't that exactly sound like a cryo-Vulcan or volcano? So cool. As I mentioned, we also have these parts that are combinations, and you can find these combo parts here in Supercluster parts, and then go all the way down here. You'll notice on the bottom here, it says universe. Universe are combo categories, so for every single key, there's a unique sound, and you can always go in here and use single note stretch if you want to isolate one of those sounds. But let me just show you a couple of different sounds. In this first example here, there are emissions, so sort of more earthly bound frequencies. You're going to see them here played with one single sample, and then I'm just doing surrounding samples of it. So if you notice here in the sequence of the same sort of base layer, but then just using other ambiences from emissions around it, all just to show you how many different things you can do with just one part. There's an infinite amount of possibilities just within a single part here. Check this one out. I mean, what kind of cool ambience is that? Let me also show you another multi-part here. These are transmissions, so you can hear a lot of that sort of tape, grainy, kind of old school radio, Mars sending signals to Earth kind of vibe. So as you can see on every single key, there are unique ambiences. It might actually be fun to take this in the ARP and just play something random. Okay, arpeggiated multiverses. That sounded god-awful. You'll see me here sort of go through something, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, let me go back to that one. There's something about that one that appealed musically to me. I mean, isn't that beautiful? It's almost like a string harmonic. I just think they're so beautiful. So it occurred to me I could take two of these different ambiences here and combine them. And I was like, okay, this is beautiful. This is speaking to me musically. So I also decided to put an LFO on it to sort of create a sort of sidechainy kind of vibe. And once I had the sidechain going, I just added like an old school drum machines, the Brown Auto-Vari 64, just a bass drum. That's it. And one beautiful thing in Soundpaint is that even an old school bass drum like this, it's analog, and we have almost infinite variations of that bass drum. So it's never the same sample. And that makes it a lot more alive. So when you combine it with something organic as these sort of universe ambiences, it just feels and sounds alive. Let's try to push things a little bit further. In this next example here, I'm actually using a couple of different elements. We're going to begin here with using the core of the Milky Way galaxy. It emits this very, very fat bass sound. So I made sort of a trap-like bass groove with it. Okay, that's cool. Then I also found this other sound here. This is from the International Space Station. Shimmy programmed this beautiful, almost like piano-like combo patch where he took two different sounds, one from the International Space Station and another one here, I think from our Dark Neutrino category, combined them, and it gives this sort of beautiful piano sound. Right? So combined, add a beat to it, you get this. That's just drums combined with the core of our galaxy, combined with the International Space Station and Dark Neutrinos. And you have something that actually sounds pretty contemporary and sort of like, oh, okay, I've heard this before. And it just goes to show that when you create music, everything is music. Everything is an instrument. There's no right or wrongs here. No theories apply. It's all about the ear and the heart. I keep coming back to that one. Here's another example of a program by Marissa. Beautiful combination of two different interstellar elements. And you'll notice that I also did that side chaining by putting an LFO on it here and setting the note rate to my DAW sync here. That gives sort of that pumpy kind of vibe. Yeah, the beat to that added some whispers from Barbary on top of it, and all of a sudden you're going. Let me also show you another example here. This is using the moon. It's one of my favorite sounds in the whole collection out of the 1,000 different ambiences here. I thought it could be cool to just generate an ambience with the moon and then just play our free 1928 piano on top of it, just to show you how much mood you can create out of just taking the sound of our moon howling back at us, combining with an old school beautiful piano with original strings from 1928. Right, so in this next example here, I'm also going to play with the moon, but this time I'm just going to hold in the key for a long time on the moon, and you can hear it sort of morph and change its character. Some of the parts in the library here have these very evolving kind of motions. Often they stay within pitch, but sometimes, like the moon here, they're full of little surprises. They'll emit other frequencies, they'll bend in notes and stuff. It's very beautiful and organic in its nature. Isn't that just sweet? So you probably heard the piano and then the moon, and then you heard this sort of weird paper sound. That's actually coming from our free ASMR library, and together with our free piano here, they're both for free, but it's a painter sort of packing up his plastic, and I thought it's such a beautiful... You can sort of control how much he wraps it. Now, one thing we haven't even gotten into is the programs in the library. Let me just show you 3 different programs quickly here just holding down a single note so you can see what they're about. Beginning here with Dan's beautiful one sort of key wonder, I think they're that way, where he just finds specific patches or parts that really belong together and then just make these most beautiful, evolving kind of advanced ambiences. So beautiful. Here's another one by Marissa. This is sort of more celestial, also combining two different parts of the entire universe. I mean, to me, that's just galactically cool. Just one key. So the cryovolcan here is creating the bass sound. And then this other guy over here, Solar System 2 from Ganymede, creates the high-pitched ambience. So sweet. And here's a triple combination also by Marissa, beautiful sort of expanding kind of sound. And here's one last one by Marissa, probably an homage to the beautiful show on Amazon called The Expanse. This is sort of a very punchy combo kind of thing of three different galactic, stellar, universal supercluster elements all put together. How many things we can do inside of Soundpaint and with these beautiful source recordings. And as I mentioned, we can also morph things. So in this one here, I'm using another library, our Bulbul Tarang, which has these beautiful ambiences, and then I'm morphing them into a nebula. But as I'm morphing it, I'm going to the deepest octave the engine can do, a little bit on a homage to the 57 octaves we talked about in the beginning here. And then I'm morphing through the pitch as well. It gives this sort of, oh my fucking god kind of sound. I love this one because I can almost play music with that sort of overtone of the morph. So almost like, but real slow. When does it end? When did it begin? This library for me is almost as infinite as the universe. Over 1,000 different ambiences, all super organic, if we can even call them that. I don't know, are they organic? There are so many different things here. They're full of emotions, so many different flavors and colors, and how beautiful and grateful we should be for being in a day and age where we can do these things. Who would have thought about this 100 years ago, that you would have an engine that could do all these things, sit in front of your computer and just command the entire universe? How cool is that? How lucky are we? And yet, you know, as I showed earlier on with music, sometimes it doesn't take that much. 1, 2, 3 elements and you're going. And a lot of the beautiful music that's been written really has that more simplistic premise. I just think it's super cool that we can play along with the universe and the galaxies and the comets and the nebulas. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I love this library, if that's not abundantly clear, and it's gonna be with me till I put myself in my decompositional grave. I think it's so beautiful and surprising how much stuff is out there, not in conventional waveforms, but gliding through the universe with an oscillation of 10 million years per oscillation, minus 57 octaves, and now all at the command of our fingertips, a whole universe in our hand. How beautiful. Anyway, my name is Troels. Thank you so much for watching. This is Soundpaint, an infinite world of sonic possibilities, and I hope you'll join us on this ride.